This is the Blind Grilling Experience, and I am the most interesting griller in the world. Welcome back to the Blind Grilling Experience. Appreciate everybody in the BGE Nation tuning in and checking out the podcast. Be sure and stay tuned to our YouTube channel as well at youtube.com/blind grilling. Be sure and subscribe. Also, go over and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/blind grilling. I am your host, Chris Peltz, and joining me once again is the host of your Blind Mama's Messy Kitchen, Miss Jeri out in Arizona. Jeri, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Trying to stay cool, but getting it done. So absolutely. So the host of my Blind Mama's Messy Kitchen, and of course, Caitlin always by your side, and you guys have been trying to stay cool as well, apparently, because it is always hot out in Arizona.
Yes, especially in July.
I did a podcast. In fact, it released, the last released podcast with John Grimes. Here I am in Missouri, he's in Texas, and we were complaining about the heat. And, of course, we got a lot of humidity as well to, in our defense, at least in mine. And, it was 90, 91 degrees, heat index of about 100 to 104, on occasion. So it was hot. I mean, it was really hot, but I'm afraid to know what it was where you are.
Was it yesterday or the day before? It was 116.
Actual temperature.
Actual temp in the shade. They take it in the shade out here.
Oh, wow.
So in the shade was 116, and then the humidity is starting to creep up on us because we're coming into monsoon season. So I'm not sure what the humidity was, but you could definitely feel it.
Yeah.
in the house and outside, and it's pretty awful, really.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
116 in the shade.
116 in the shade.
Wow. That's got to be rough. It's got to be rough not only when it comes to just getting out. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's rough. We went grocery shopping last night when the sun started to go down.
Okay.
Because it's really bad.
Yeah.
You're in your house in your air conditioning and you think, oh, I'm going to go do this and this and go to the store. And then you're outside and you get in that car and, oh, maybe I'll go back in. Maybe I'll change my mind.
Right. Oh man. Yeah. That's that. I just can't imagine having to wait until the sun goes down to be able to, get out and do things. I mean, in one respect, we can kind of do that here, but because of the humidity, it's hard to escape the heat. Like we're going to get down into the 70s overnight, but the humidity still makes it just really muggy, and it just still seems really hot. So,
yeah, we do get humidity, but it's nothing like. I did go to Florida one time, and I have never felt anything like that in my life.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a cool weather. It was like 95 degrees one day with 100%. I mean, it was raining.
Yeah.
So it was rough.
Right.
Now I understand the whole, oh, you live in Phoenix, it's a dry heat.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, when I lived in Colorado, it was this, 100 degrees. It definitely felt a lot better there than 100 degrees in the Midwest. Mm-hmm. But 100 degrees is hot. I don't care where you are.
It is.
Yeah. So that's just hot. So now you waited for the sun to go down to go shopping, grocery shopping. Was it, what are you using? What, and maybe not necessarily this past week, but are there some tools that you're using to help you out with your grocery shopping?
Yeah. Now, last night, there's a store maybe 2 blocks from my house called Winco Foods.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have them back there, but
no.
They unfortunately don't have a delivery or pickup option there. So if I go there, I'm usually going with Carl or my mom, and we a lot of foods there are just cheaper. A lot of snack foods for the kids and all this is cheaper.
Yeah.
But what I like to use is the Kroger app. I guess it would be Kroger in other states, but here it's Fry's.
Yeah. Okay.
Their app is, to me, it's very user friendly, blind user friendly.
Okay.
Once you figure it out, it's pretty simple to use. I prefer that over the Walmart app.
Right.
I've tried Walmart and it gets very confusing. And then you can either go to the store and pick it up, which right now they're not charging a fee for that, service fee, or you can have it delivered through Instacart, which I've used that a couple times. It ends up costing you, I think it's like, a $6 to $10 service fee and then a tip. It's about $6. So it's almost a $20 extra cost, but there's times when that's comes in really handy.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Especially when it's 116 degrees
Exactly.
outside.
Exactly. Because if you go to the store and pick it up, that's fine. But you could be waiting a good 15 minutes if they're busy.
Right.
And if you don't have good AC in your car.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Right now the time slots are limited because there are a lot of people using it. So
yeah. Now you said Kroger app. I mean, it is the actual Kroger app that you use. What's the name of the store though?
Here it's called Fry's Food Store.
Fry's Food. Okay, yeah, because like in I think in Colorado we had King Soopers, which were Kroger stores.
Okay.
And then here in Missouri, at one point we had Dillon's, and then there are a few Krogers depending on what area you're in, and so I guess it really just depends on what area you are at in the U.S. But I mean, Kroger's is widespread, but not everyone knows it as Kroger.
Yeah, when we go on vacation to the ocean over in Encinitas, California, their store there that's Kroger is called Ralph's.
Okay,
gotcha. Because
gotcha.
we were able to use our Fry's, rewards card
right
at Ralph's.
Yeah, okay.
And it was kind of cool because it was the exact layout as our Fry's.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So it was neat.
Yeah. Well, that makes it, that's helpful. That makes it a lot easier, especially for someone who's blind or visually impaired, having to, in an unfamiliar or new area and having something laid out the same way. Well,
exactly.
I mean, that's nice too, because sometimes you can go from one Walmart to another and they're completely flipped and, completely opposite. And so that can sometimes be frustrating too. So.
I like it because I'm able to, how if you're sighted, you go to the store and yes, you have your list, but you end up ultimately buying things that are not on your list because you're your things catch your eye. Well, on this, I feel like things catch my eye because I'll be thumbing down through the list of, say, snacks, and they have a search bar, so I'll type in, say, Pringles. Mm-hmm. Well, then, they'll throw in a featured item in between your search results. And then you're like, that sounds good. I need that.
Right. That could be dangerous.
It doesn't help me at all with the not impulse shopping, but whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
I like it because it's something I can do on my own.
Yeah.
The only thing I had to have help with from my kids was setting up the account for the entering your debit card number and things like that, because sometimes those edit fields where you go to type in, if your speech is on, it doesn't work.
Right. Yeah.
So
but once you is that a one-time setup, or is that something that you have to do every time?
It's a one-time setup unless you can add other cards or
sometimes you don't want it to be saved, but if you do, then then once it's done, then you can use it every time. So
or if it expires, you got to go in there and update it and all of that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's pretty neat. I'm really thankful that that's an option these days.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it definitely, of course, a lot of folks are using it. They've become more popular. And I think right now with the COVID and everything else that's been going on and the social distancing, and now with the mask orders that so many places are putting, in effect, that I think people are using those even more. Those types of apps.
That's what I think.
So
yeah. When we went to pick up our groceries at Fry's, the week before last. I had to buy a lot, so I just did it with the app, and they were very busy. They
Mhm.
seem to be getting busier and busier. So I think you're right. I think it's because of the whole mask mandate and social distancing and all that.
Yeah. Well, that's great though that they're accessible. I mean, because that, before this, that was one thing everyone was looking for in the blind and visually impaired community. What's the best accessible app where to do their shopping, to be able to, be independent in purchasing those things and not having to worry about finding someone at the store, because now and of course I haven't had to go to a grocery store by myself in years, but when I would, sometimes you'd have to have a helper from the store. So I don't know how they get that done. I don't know, what their policies are on that, but it seems that, it would just create more of a problem at this point for some who may be even more scared of what's happening. And so they don't want to have a stranger guide them around the store, so the apps makes it, pretty handy.
I won't say his name, but I did actually ask one of the employees there, because sometimes I wake up really early in the morning and I wake up full of energy and I think this would be the best time to grocery shop. Okay. Well, my husband works graveyard and he's not about to do that.
You're right.
And so I thought, well, if I took Dial-A-Ride, which is what we use here.
Yeah.
So I asked when he was bringing the groceries out to the car, I said, hey, I said, I'm blind. So if I come here early in the morning, will I have a better chance of getting some of the products that I need? This is when the toilet paper shortage was going on.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And B, would there be somebody to help me? And he straight up said, probably not.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's kind of upsetting,
yeah,
to say the least.
Right.
But at least there's other options.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, at least he didn't, say, oh, yeah, sure. And then you get there.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely didn't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, wow. Yeah. So, so the app is really cool. So I'm glad that Kroger is doing that. And I'm sure some others, maybe they can comment and let us know some of the apps that they're using for some of the shopping that they're doing, and share that, both whether they're on the listening on the podcast or on our YouTube channel. They can leave a comment, hopefully, and just kind of spread the word on some of the apps that are accessible, because I think that's very helpful for a lot of folks that not only, I guess, really, in times past with being blind or visually impaired trying to shop, but especially now with everything going on. So that's great to know that those things are out there and that they're accessible. Now, you and I were talking before we started recording, and you mentioned that you actually cooked something tonight, and got me thinking. So, but what did you end up cooking tonight?
Well, I had some bone-in center cut pork chops, and they were like medium thickness. I love those. That's really the only kind of pork chop I like, is the center cut bone in.
Yeah.
And it's just a simple recipe where you take let's see, I had 4 pork chops. It was actually a huge pack, but I divided them up.
Okay.
So I made 4, and you take a half a cup of brown sugar and 1 package of the dry Italian dressing mix.
Okay.
And you just mix the brown sugar and the dressing mix together. Don't add any liquid or anything. And then you coat both sides of your pork chop really well. And then I took a cookie sheet and laid foil on it. And then I spread out Crisco, because I'm remembering your advice about using Crisco instead of oil to measure.
Okay.
So I spread Crisco out on it. I didn't have any of the nonstick foil that I like to use.
Yeah.
And then I just laid those on there after they were well coated, and I baked them at 350 for about an hour and 20 minutes, until I started to smell that maybe I better take them out.
Right.
I was concerned about I was going to cook it at a higher temperature, but I was concerned because of the sugar. I was concerned about it burning. And so, they were good. It made the best sauce. I put like a teaspoon of butter on top of each pork chop just to give it some moisture.
Right. Wow.
And the original recipe I saw for that was from plainchicken.com.
Okay.
And she used boneless pork chops, but I thought, no,
No, you're
use the
right.
bone in. You get more juice and with the
Yeah.
butter on there. Oh my goodness, they were great.
Man, that sounds awesome. Man, that sounds really good. And I mean, pork chops is really versatile. I mean, I don't know that we could talk to, 10, 20, 30 people and not have 10, 20, 30 different ways of doing pork chops. I mean, there's so many things you can do with them. I mean, so many ways you can smother them, grill them, pan fry them. I mean, yeah, there's a ton of ways to do pork chops, bone in, boneless, whatever, but I'm with you though. Bone in on the pork chops. Of course, we'll get a pork loin and just about any recipe someone comes up with pork chops, we can slice our pork loin and do the same thing.
Ooh, that would be, pork loins go on sale a lot here, and you could, I like to slice, what's the word I'm looking for? Like slits into the pork loin.
Yeah.
And I bet you could take even if you didn't want to use the brown sugar, you could just take the Italian dressing mix.
Right. Oh, you could almost butterfly it open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost like a stuffed pork chop or, like a stuffed pork loin and just put that. Oh, yeah. Isn't that brainstorming just great?
It is. My doctor gets upset with me. I'm like, I love to cook. I can't help it.
That's right. Oh, wow.
My mom, growing up, always pan fried her pork chops in bacon fat.
Yes. Yeah.
And to this day, I'll ask her to do that for me because I don't do it good.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
They're just so yummy.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, it's hard to beat anything in bacon fat. So
yeah.
I had some leftover baked potatoes, and I took and I'll cut them up to where they're about the from the knuckle to the end of your thumb, about that size pieces, and then in that bacon grease just kind of fry up. They're already baked, so you're really just heating them through, but they can even get a little bit crisp while you cook those baked potatoes. And oh man, for breakfast or even with a supper, but for breakfast, with some bacon and eggs or something, man, they were so good.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Definitely like that. So, but yeah, with pork chops, that used to be one of my favorite breakfast meats was fried pork chops, just pan frying them and put them on a biscuit or something. But
that's there's a restaurant we go to that one of their specials in the mornings is butterflied pork chops and eggs.
Yeah.
And they are so good.
Right.
And I have a tendency to overcook my pork chops, so I was afraid tonight that they were going to be crispy.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I took them out. I used my sense of smell because we have a meat thermometer, but it doesn't talk. So a lot of good that does me.
Yeah.
So I just kind of go with my best judgment, and I'll take the fork and stick it through the center of the thickest one, and I'll twist that fork. And if the fork twists easily, then I'm 98% sure it's finished.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, we need to get you a talking thermometer because that would
I know.
Wow. Yeah. So
I do need a talking thermometer. That'd be great.
Yeah. Awesome. And that, I mean, because once you can dial in that temp, man, you talk about, they stay juicy and moist and they're just, wow. Yeah. That's so good. So good.
Maybe I would make less shoe leather.
Maybe. That's right. That's right.
I'll put it on my Christmas wish list.
There you go. Yeah.
Now, do they have them reasonable price now? Because
ThermoWorks is only like $30.
Oh, okay, that's doable.
Yeah. It may be $39. You have to. You can look at ThermoWorks thermometers. They have a talking thermometer on their website, and it's either $29 or $39.
Well, that's not bad. It's worth it.
Their talking thermometer. So and it works great. And now it's an instant read, so it's one you when you're checking them, you stick it in, and then it tells you. You can do something like the iGrill, which you could actually use in your oven to run the probe in and leave it in there, and then just monitor it on your phone inside.
Oh, it's amazing.
So there's lots of ways that you could do it, but the cheapest is definitely the ThermoWorks Instant Read, and they're very reliable. I mean, I've had one, for years that we've used, and it does great. So
It's good to know that they're coming out with things that are more affordable, because years ago anything that had speech attached to it was so expensive.
oh, I know it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And of course I'm not always big on conspiracy theories, but that was one that I had when it came to anything that was blind related, because the government paid for so much when I was growing
Right.
up.
Me
And I'm
too.
like, well, then, no wonder they're jacking the prices up, because the government's paying for it.
Well,
So, yeah.
um,
It's like the
have you
$300
ever
hammers, right?
right. Have you ever used or heard of the talking bread machines? Have you?
No, I haven't.
I think it was on Maxiade's. Have you heard of
Oh,
Maxiade's
yeah.
catalogs?
Yes.
I think it was in there, and at the time, it's been a few years since I even considered it. They were just
Mhm.
outrageous, and I thought, how nice that would be to have a talking bread machine, because
Right.
I love to make bread from scratch. I don't use a bread machine, but there's times when that'd be nice to be able to just
Yeah.
throw it all in there and let the machine do it for you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we actually just had to get a new oven, and it has a proof setting for breads.
Yes, so does mine.
Yeah, so we haven't used it yet, but my daughter does pretzels, and with having to rise, my wife will do some bread and some crescent rolls, and so we're gonna try it. Have you used yours?
Yes, and the one complaint I have about my oven, and I feel bad because my husband kind of designed this kitchen for me when we remodeled the house. We have a
Mhm.
double oven, all digital, which it didn't even dawn on me when we bought it. And the cabinets that he designed in here, it fits this particular oven. So,
Oh, okay.
the buttons are so sensitive that I can't even brush my hand across it to see where, because we braille labeled it. We put braille on all the
Yeah.
buttons on the oven.
Yeah.
It's a flat screen. So I can't even feel with my
Read the braille.
fingertip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it just takes the command instantly. There's no delay button or anything. There's no way to lock it and
Yeah.
then set
Yeah.
it and then start it. And there's no way to. We've even called GE about it, and
Oh,
there's no
man.
way around it. So it's
Right.
kind of frustrating, because when I go to use my oven, I have to ask for help, and
Yeah.
I don't like to do that. So I didn't know if there was a smaller oven, like a countertop, maybe a toaster type oven that's more accessible,
Hmm.
that I
Yeah.
could just set on a counter.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. That'd be interesting. I know we had to get a new microwave, and it's like a 3-in-1 kind of thing, where it's a microwave, it'll bake, and then some kind of fryer, air fryer.
Oh,
It does
oh,
all
really?
three. Yeah. And so it's pretty, again, we had a lot of things go out at once, it seems.
That's how it goes.
I know it. So I haven't had a chance to play with it much, but we're gonna have to put the raised dots on on it to be able to use it. But so I'll see how accessible that is. But of course, you mentioned Maxiades. Of course, there's Blind Mice Mega Mall, which has a lot of talking appliances as well. So they might have something like that. I don't know. That's something I haven't really given much thought to, so I haven't searched for it for sure.
Yeah, I even researched if there was a way to convert, because it's all a computer chip. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe we could convert it to being accessible with Wi-Fi. But
Yeah.
no, it's too old.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Oh,
So
man.
I feel bad griping about this beautiful oven, but I can't use it.
Right. Wow.
It's all the braille on it. Looks great, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Man.
there are. I've heard that I think it's the actual Instapot, is accessible with Wi-Fi, and you can
Okay.
operate it with your phone.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Right now that has been probably one of the biggest leaps in technology for the blind and visually impaired community is the iPhone. Well, phones altogether. I know there are some, there are some Android guys and girls out there that gonna be like, hey, what do you mean iPhone? Because they've come a long way, but I mean, to have it built in where you don't have to buy anything separate, or add other software to make it accessible. I mean, iPhone was leading in that for sure. And, it just, wow, what we're able to do now, and folks are taking advantage of that. And the Amazon, with the Amazon skills, Alexa, Echo. Yeah. That's, exactly. I mean, those things are just awesome as well. Real quick, and I meant to ask you about this actually, your shopping list, is that something that you create in the app itself when you're doing that? I know I should ask you that when we were talking about the app.
Yeah, you can. I don't know if they have a section where you can create your list, but when you go to add to cart, there's an add to cart button or an add to your list button.
Okay.
And there's also you could share your list, like say I need to send it to Carl or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a recipe button. So you can, if you're not sure what to cook, there's a lot of recipe suggestions.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay. Now, is there other things you use to create your list, or do you just go through that app when you're...
I just use my notes in my iPhone.
iPhone? Yeah.
Yeah. I just
again, like I said, iPhone, I'm telling you. It's, that's great.
I don't know what I did before it. I've only been using mine since like 5 years now, I think.
Okay.
And I would be lost without my phone.
Yeah, right.
I would.
Yeah, I switched in 2009 with the 3GS, that came with the voiceover. So that was, that was awesome.
I was late to the game. I was still trying to use my old JAWS system and getting frustrated with that and needing to update and pay a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I was on a blind parenting group, and everybody, I noticed at the end of their post, it said sent from my iPhone. So finally I just posted the question that, what do you mean you're using an iPhone? Please enlighten me,
Yeah.
And sure enough, so
that's great.
Hubby had to go to the cell phone store.
That's right. Wow. And that,
it changed my life.
Yes, it changed mine as well. I mean, I use it for everything. It's unbelievable. Yeah. So, absolutely love that. And, I mean, it basically became my computer in a lot of ways. So,
yeah, I slowly got to where I didn't use. It was easier to figure out and easier to learn than. Nothing against JAWS, because I think JAWS is great, but
right.
It was just so much easier. It just all made sense to me. And
yeah.
Now I do have trouble. Do you use an Apple laptop or a?
I do use an Apple laptop.
So you're familiar with all of the commands for that voiceover?
Mostly, yes.
I sat and I went to the website and I was making notes of all of the different commands because we bought a MacBook. And I tell you, I have the biggest brain cramp when it comes to those commands using the laptop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it just baffles. I don't know what it is about my brain that's not accepting it.
Right. I
wish I could figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them are, it seems to be somewhat universal, going from the like an iMac to the MacBook Pro. So, but even at that, some of the commands carry over. Even like I'll connect a Bluetooth keyboard to my phone, and then kind of got familiar with things that way as well. So,
I never even thought of that.
Yeah, because you know what your phone does. You're so familiar with your phone, and so you can use your keyboard with that. And then I just kind of took some of those things and over to the MacBook, and of course there's a help option that you can, a keyboard help where you can set it to where you can type all kinds of keys and it tells you what they'll do. But remembering them is another
there's so
problem.
Many.
There is, there really are. And so yeah, just the VO keys, and then just playing around with it is, just, and if you're not on it all the time, again, it's one of those things. If you're not using it, you lose it for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So
yeah, I definitely tend to go back to my phone for things.
yeah. It's just easier. It really is for me, just so much easier to use the phone. But I have gotten where I connect a keyboard to it, and that helped me learn some of those commands as well, because they work on both with the phone on an external keyboard and on the MacBook. So
I never even thought of that. That's interesting. I never even considered hooking that up to my phone.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
So it makes things it makes things easier, when it comes to texting, when it comes to writing emails and everything like that.
Oh yeah, I don't know about your
type it.
voiceover, but my voiceover thinks I'm drunk or something because
That's right.
the texts that I send are just hilarious, and sometimes I'll go on ahead and send them because they're so funny.
Oh yeah,
deleting them.
Oh, I've been put on notification, because you got to remember, I'm a preacher, and so there are some words that come up on the screen that I promise did not come out of my mouth, and if I'm not paying attention and I send that, which I have done, that's not good.
Oh no.
And of course, folks know me, so they know they'll laugh and like, did you mean something else? And I'll go back and listen to the text like, you better believe I meant something else. Wow. Yeah, that wasn't good. So that's the one thing. And I found, like, I've got an Apple Watch. I'm just deep into the Apple atmosphere. An ecosystem, I guess they call it. But the Apple Watch does really good with transcribing, with what you speak to text. And it seems like they've concentrated more on that, whereas with the phone itself, I have a lot more issues. So,
well, my husband has an Apple Watch, but I wasn't interested in them because I was still learning my phone.
Yeah,
and he used to work for Apple for a brief. Well, I guess it was for about 1.5 years. And that was fun.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And he'd still, his Apple Watch is outdated, but he still doesn't go anywhere without it.
Right. Yeah, it's it actually helped me kind of, because I got so attached to my phone. And when I got the watch, it actually helped me get away. I mean, because while I may not be as productive, I'm not as attached to the phone itself. It's a mental thing, I guess. Because I can still know who's texting, or if I get some notifications, and so I'm like, okay, I know about it, but I haven't missed it. Whereas if I'm without my phone altogether, it seemed, I would just think about, what, am I missing the text? Am I missing a phone call? Am I missing something? Mm-hmm. And at least now I know when they come in, and I don't feel bad about not responding, but just because I know they're there. So again, it's a mental thing, but I've really enjoyed the watch for sure.
And I try to make recipe folders in my notes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times though, it'll just post the link to the recipe instead of, because I always think it's going to just post the actual recipe.
Okay.
But it'll post the link, and it's like, no, I just want to read the recipe.
Yeah. Right.
But it's neat. You can do that. I forget how many I have in there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's awesome. So of course we've got the heat, right? We're trying to beat the heat. I know you turned on the oven tonight, you said, to make some pork chops and things, but what are some other things you're doing though, trying to avoid it? Because a lot of folks do not want to turn the oven on when it is this hot, and not everybody goes out and grills like I do, and even if they do, if it's 100 degrees outside, they're like, I'm not sure I want to go outside and grill either. So what are some of your thoughts to kind of keep things kind of cool in the house?
Well, my house stays cool except for the front room and the kitchen, because that's where the sun's beating down all day. So as of today, I have three 3 fans in the front room
Oh yeah.
going all the time, and I point them to the kitchen because my kitchen's right here. Um, we have a what are they called? We took out our bay window when we remodeled and put in our sliding glass doors that go out to the pool there.
Hmm.
And the sun just beats down in that window all day. So we had to put up curtains. What do they call them? Blackout curtains.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if someone comes to my home that can see, they're like, they won't be able to see either.
Right. Right.
We have it all darkened in here.
Yeah.
But I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about making freezer meals,
Hmm.
putting everything together in a freezer bag or a food saver bag, and then pulling them out, just throwing them in the crock pot. Or
Oh yeah.
we order out a lot, unfortunately,
Mm.
to eat on super hot days because it's just, ugh,
Yeah.
you just
Right.
don't want to do
Exactly.
it.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to enjoy it when I'm cooking, and if I'm hot, I don't
Yeah.
enjoy. I get pretty crabby, but
Right.
but
Oh yeah.
we're fortunate in that we have a pool, so
Yeah.
we do try to do that every evening.
Okay.
So at least we're getting a little exercise and not just couch potatoing it.
Right. Right. Gotcha.
And my
Yeah.
husband does grill. My husband likes to grill.
Okay.
So he'll do that when he's off work, but I don't. I know I need to learn from you and learn how to grill a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm completely intimidated by it.
Right. A lot of folks are, and it can be understandable, but yeah, there are definitely ways to kind of subdue some of those fears and get past that. But yeah, just to go out and do it, without walking through some of those things can definitely be scary. No doubt. I understand that for sure. So
yeah, my husband has the Blackstone.
Oh
flat
yeah,
top.
right.
Yeah, he's got that, and then he's got the regular grill.
Yeah.
We have a smoker, but he doesn't use it too much.
Okay. Yep. Now I have a different brand. I've got the Camp Chef, but it's the same concept as the Blackstone, and that's awesome. We like that. We use it quite a bit. So
yeah,
when it's nice in the mornings, you can cook breakfast in the mornings out there, or make some sides. Any vegetables are awesome on there. So smash burgers, there's all kinds of things.
My brother does pancakes and bacon on his.
Yeah. Bacon is amazing on those things. That's, I think, one of my daughter's favorite things to cook on our flat top is the bacon. So yeah, she definitely loves that.
Yeah. So it's, I wonder, like, people, like, maybe you experience this in Missouri in the winter time where it's just so cold, you don't leave the house. So it's kind of the opposite here. It's just so hot. You just
I mean, there are some times when it's cold, but I mean, I've had some catering jobs where I had to get up at 4:00 in the morning and it's -3 degrees outside, and I've got to wrap briskets. So, I'm it is what it is. And I'm thinking, man, I am not doing that again. And I do. So
it's like construction workers here. They still get up and do it. They might start a little earlier in the morning, but a friend of ours, he is a pipe layer, so he lays pipes in the ground for the Cox cable cords, or
right?
not cords, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He so that's what he does all day, and he got physically sick a couple weeks ago.
Right, I bet
he wasn't hydrated enough, and just stay hydrated. You gotta drink the water.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you sure do. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Jeri, I appreciate you joining me and chatting about some things. I appreciate the recipe on the pork chops. Man, I'm excited about that right now. I'm gonna share that with my wife, and and that's
just brown
sugar
and Italian seasoning. Not a seasoning,
the Italian dressing.
Dressing mix.
Mix. Yep. Sweet. Yeah, man, that sounds so good. Oh man.
When you cook something like that and you taste the sauce, all you start thinking is what else that sauce would be good on.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sure.
This would be good on some rice, or this would be good on some Brussels sprouts, or
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Well, you got to come up with a side, so there you go.
Yeah.
Right. And then to put that on whatever side you come up with, that's awesome.
I almost threw together some. Have you ever made Hasselback potatoes?
No, I haven't.
I was thinking about doing that, but then I would have had to crank the heat up some more on my oven, so I didn't do it. But those sound fun to make.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I need to. I mean, I hear about them a lot. Folks making them, and but no, I haven't. I haven't done them. So
that'd be great with pork chops.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Man. And real quick, you said you used the Crisco. How did that work out? Pretty well?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Because a lot of times if I just use, like I'm out of the, I like to use the coconut. Hello, Jerry. Where'd your brain go? The coconut spray.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't like to use Pam so much, but I like the coconut oil spray.
Right.
But I'm out of that. And if I've used like canola oil, things still tend to stick.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought Crisco, it never sticks when you use Crisco. So it worked out great. Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Glad to hear it.
No problems.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, hey, good to have you on. Good chat, and we'll look forward. I want to hear about some more of those frozen dinner ideas that you've got. So maybe that's something that we can talk about. Pretty soon, because some of those, I'm sure a lot of folks, especially with school starting, things getting really busy. At least depending on where you're at, I guess, as far as school starting, but having some things you could just pull out and throw in a crock pot or in the oven or something that's been frozen. And,
there's a lot of videos on YouTube for freezer meals.
Right. Yep. Awesome.
The one I'm going to throw in tomorrow is like a chicken taco. I made an overabundance of it a couple of weeks ago, so I'm like, don't waste it. Throw it in the freezer.
Yeah.
So tomorrow I'm just going to pull it out and put it in the crock pot. It's already good to go.
Excellent. Yeah. Man, that's great. That is great. Okay. Yeah. Well, cool. I'll look forward to hearing some more about all those, and definitely, you hear about some more ideas on that, because I know folks will be wanting to hear on that. So.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, again, thanks for joining us. I hope folks will check out your YouTube channel, My Blind Mama's Messy Kitchen, and lots of great information, lots of great videos that are on there. Not only grocery hauls, but a lot of awesome recipes. And so I hope everybody will check that out. Of course, be sure and subscribe not only to My Blind Mama's Messy Kitchen, but also to our Blind Grilling channel at youtube.com/blindgrilling, Facebook at facebook.com/blindgrilling. And as always, remember, if you're looking, you ain't cooking.